Hey there, everybody, and welcome to an interview with Sheepy. Thank you so much for joining. First off, I just want to say, I know obviously it is tough. You just lost the last game, so I appreciate the interview. Really quickly to start things off, I do want to ask how the team is doing. It seemed like they're in good spirits, but I just wanted to check in.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the opinion going around that if you're smiling after a loss, you're like just a useless person and like how dare you? I think it's kind of like when you're expecting like pain and then the doctor is like this is going to hurt and then you just start crying. Uh in my tendency I usually start to like laugh because I know that this is going to hurt. I know this is coming. Like I know it's one of the possibilities, so yeah. So we're not smiling because hey, we're so happy we lost games, but more like we know that was a very real possibility, and like what happened in the game. There were so many mistakes, and there's so many other stuff going through our heads. Like what do we need to improve for next year? Like how did we actually lose? Like yeah, and so you're just trying to work through all of this in your head. And overall, we're not the kind of team that's like, man, I had my teammate. Like how dare he? Lose me the game. But we're more like we'll get better, and let's improve our the next months are going to matter, not like the 20 seconds after the game is done.
Exactly. I think that's a great point. Thank you for that.
No problem.
And of course, you're here with the LCL, and you already made history by making it this far, which I think is commendable. What does it
Thank you.
mean for you as someone who was with the EU LCS, now the LEC, and now you're representing the LCL with the same great organization? What is it like for you representing the LCL now?
That's beautiful. The Russian people are super supportive. I have received so much fan art. The comments on our VK page is way more than like on the Twitter page from a lot of other teams. So we're just the most popular team over there in Russia. Even like the Dota 2 teams, where Dota 2 is like massive compared to us. Like just don't have this kind of interaction, and it's fantastic. Anatoly, our social media manager, is just smurfing over there. I don't know. It's crazy. Our graphic designer is fantastic. The community is super lively. They're a little bit more crass than, let's say, in Europe. In Europe, it's like I think they didn't perform to the standards that were required to win this tournaments. And sometimes they're like they were bad, and then people are like, you can't say they're bad. But in Russia, it just goes way over the line. So I think you have to have a thick skin. I think we have that kind of, or we at least learning it. I take it with a lot of humor, but yeah, I love it. Thank you so much that we had the opportunity to. LCL is fantastic, and I think we'll make it even more greater in the future. Like we've already tried to, and I think managed to. And yeah, that's the part of the interview where I'm like, I'm looking really forward to it. This will be great.
Awesome. Yeah, you got to throw in a little PR there, at least a little bit. I know that you mentioned earlier, after I think it was the first game, something about the play-ins and how other teams can scout the play-in teams. And this year, actually, we didn't see a single play-in team advance. I think it was 2018 we saw all four teams. I think last year there were a couple teams. And so I don't know, do you want to expand at all on kind of the point that you made there and the fact that you were operating on old information? And like what it means to be a play-in team and the kind of the weakness it gives you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if people realize, but draft is kind of important. And also as a critic point, it's one of the number one. Like it's hard to say like this guy should have rotated mid lane at 5 minutes 30 and the other guy's like, well, it's against the win condition of jungler needing to farm, so they reset for Drake. And then you have this kind of arbitrary discussion between two internet people where nobody really knows the answer and nobody really cares. It's way easier to be like Bjergsen on Zillion, like, wow, that's crazy. Like, that's so good. Or he goes 20 CS behind. It's like Zillion was the worst pick in the world. Yeah. So I think right now people care a lot about draft, and it's difficult to prepare a draft if you have 2-month-old information. We worked on that. We saw that in some games they didn't prioritize Ornn or Nidalee the way that we wanted to, and there were some trade-offs we wanted to do. And like as you can see, we drafted to gain advantage because we thought that we needed to. And it's very hard to draft with advantage for 2-month-old information. And what we learned at this point is that those teams play a lot of champions, even if they didn't practice them like particularly, even especially if they're easy. So yeah, we learned that from the first game, and it kind of, it kind of sucked that it would have been cooler if the teams that didn't play in the play-ins would play against each other first, so we can see like, FlyQuest against DRX against Tess, and then Tess against FlyQuest, and then we actually have like 2 games to scout from it. Even just 1 game would have been cool. I don't know if that's possible. I don't think it's the massive talking point. Like, we can still do it, but it's just I don't know. Like, I mean, we can do without it. I just thought it might be a cool idea, right? Games, like, or make us first place, and then I'm like, whatever. Give us the advantage and make it hard for playing teams.
There we go. We'll give you the first seed. NA's not doing anything with it, so
let's go. I'm ready. Riot, please. Yeah.
So, people, they've been kind of talking about you as this mad scientist. You're talking about the draft right now. Talking about Power of Evil as one of your former players, and he pulled out the vein. You couldn't ban him out. So annoying.
Hate him. Friendship ended right there.
So, what is it about you? I know also they were talking about your obsession with like micro interactions and team fights. So, what is this mad scientist thing? Why is that your thing? What are the micro interactions that you enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, overall, as you can see, I'm already getting closer and closer to the lab coat that I'm eventually going to wear with the glasses on stage, and 2 different kind of chemistry bottles. Yeah, I think that overall in draft right now, there's a lot to do. There's so many questions being asked or not being asked, like why do we play only towards bot side? Swaps were really popular in some cases. How come that we're not playing through mid lane more? And like all this kind of stuff. Level 1 invades have been a huge thing. I think there's so much to learn about that, about early game warding. I don't know. The game gives just so much, and I think compare that to, I mean, any other mental sport that I could like compare to was like chess and the development of chess over the last years. Even like Dota now has an AI where you can see like what is one of the optimal ways or like an interesting way to play the game. So I think there's so much to learn. I think draft is not optimal at this point. I think people are defaulting too much to stuff that just works. I think that the game is perfectly imbalanced. So I think that, it's like rock, paper, scissors. It's not like stone is always going to win. We're going to go for stone. But I think it's like, everything can beat anything. And some things are just too strong. So you need to like, fix it slowly with draft. So yeah, I like the draft. I'm very open for that. And also I think generally I've been working with the lowest amount of, let's say, resources. And it's really difficult to get ahead if like all the options that you're having are like slightly worse than what the other person has. So we're looking at like, I'm just like desperately looking for ways to actually, enhance our, like get some kind of advantage. And I think we've seen that people have started banning Swain. I mean, we've made history, I think, multiple times with interesting picks. I think players showed their best behavior on our team as well. Haley with crazy picks like Flash hooking like a Talon invisible flashing in, and our power playing Oriana with smites and all this kind of stuff. So, and Chaco and Kikis and Xerxa played the first time Ivern and went like 0-7 with the 7 champion, 7-0.
Yeah,
important difference.
Yeah,
so yeah. So like I said, I love draft. I love League of Legends overall, and yeah, I'm very, very interested in any aspect of the game. And in the end of the day, I just want to get better as a coach and at League of Legends and just win it all.
Mm-hmm. So I want to kind of shout you out, gas you up a little bit. I talked to, is it Ananasik or Ananasik or?
I call him Anna. I'm terrible with names, so I'm just like Anna.
Well, there you go.
Because Ananasik, yeah. So
well, and then
yeah, it's Ananasik.
Okay. Thank you. He mentioned, I asked him about his time on Vega Squadron, and you are the difference maker for that roster, and he shouted you out as like he helped us so much. But also, talking about Power of Evil, you mentioned you're going to get drinks with Hillsong later tonight. What is it about you as a coach that not only can help so much, the mad scientist, the draft, the preparation, but also you make such close relationships with your players? What's different about you?
First up, I'm very thankful for that. I think as a coach, like legit, I don't think coaches receive much praise. It's A, difficult to see what we're doing, but B, it's just I think it's not an, we're here to help the people, and I think they're already in so much need that it's very difficult for them to be like, oh yeah, this is very difficult situation, thank you for giving me the proper help, because we're generally in a perpetual like get better at this thing, and I'm like pushing you, and it's very difficult to take the time. So thank you so much. Honestly, any kind of compliments really mean a lot at this point, so I'm very happy. And yeah, close relationships, just because I think in the end of the day, all I want for my players is to play better. I don't have like secondary thoughts. I don't care about anything else. I don't think there's a higher reason or anything to do something. I think it's all about like missions or values that you set for yourself. So I just help them accomplish it, like truthfully. I don't have any, agendas otherwise from that, and I don't know, what else is like important in life. So I just try that, and I think later on they appreciate it when they're realizing what I do. And also I try to be the hardest working person and sacrifice everything for the greater good as much as I can. I think I would rather like burn out like early, and then have done fantastic things than just like be a small flame over the entire time. So yeah, I think it's, I don't know. I enjoy it a lot, and I'm so happy that the players, I think now Hilly and I have been growing up, same for Power, and it will be great catching up. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's awesome. And then, last question. I know we are out of time. Do you just want to sign off your time here at Worlds? Any closing remarks?
I mean, closing thoughts. First up, I don't know. I'm very grateful. I think Shanghai has been beautiful. I think Worlds was absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I cannot be thankful enough in the situation I am. Life, you can sometimes work as hard as you want and still not, achieve much. I think that's the possibility. And I think it happens to a lot of people, and that it actually pays off. I don't really have the biggest drive in my life. In the beginning, I was like, I'm going to be an esports coach, because before that even was a thing. So anything I wanted to do was like do mathematics in the beginning of my life. So, but just because, I was good at it. So yeah, I'm just very thankful. I don't expect anything. And I know that people, have to look out for themselves. So obviously people are supporting me, my family, and the organization, and the players. And I cannot be grateful enough for that. It's not a given. And thank you so much. It's really means so much to me. So yeah, shout out to everybody.
Thank you so much, Sheepy. You got to get back to Shanghai next year, next Worlds. Maybe you can see more of the city. We'd love to see you back there.
Thank you.
For all of you watching, thank you so much. We'll catch you next time.